YouTube automation. I need to talk to you about it. It's not even its real name. It's littered with shady characters, false promises, and a fair bit of deception. And I want to tell you the full story because if you get past the bad stuff, legitimately, it's a pretty big opportunity. Let's go. We've 10 minutes until sunset and before I get bitten. The history of YouTube automation. Let's start from the beginning. YouTube, not really sure if you've heard about it, started off as a video sharing platform that gave everyday people a voice. Quite literally. And the people who were initially really successful with YouTube were those who fronted channels themselves. Those who captured enough attention were rewarded with fame, money, and more opportunities than they knew what to do with. We'll talk about how they do that in a bit, but personal brands yield a poignant problem. An opportunity problem. Only those who were willing to put themselves out there had that opportunity available to them. And those people who were camera shy didn't have a voice. Because most people are private and they didn't want to show the ins and outs of their daily life, and they didn't want to put their face on camera for everybody out there to see. They wanted the money and the opportunity, they just didn't want the fame part. And a similar problem existed in the music industry. If you were good enough, you could have money, influence, fame, but the fame part led to some challenges. And that turned a lot of people off of the industry until one person changed the game. See ya! She loved the music industry and what it offered, but she didn't want the fame part. So she formed a Faceless brand. Now she could have the money, the opportunity, all without showing her face. And the same concept started being applied to YouTube. They were like, hey, if Sia can do this on MTV, why can't I do this on YouTube? It's a paraphrased quote, but I'm sure you get it. So brands and channels that were now faceless started appearing on YouTube and gaining a lot of popularity. Suddenly the opportunity problem was no more and everybody could take advantage of the opportunities YouTube offered. Unlike Sia, who was eventually found out, YouTube offered a digital untraceability. So you could truly remain anonymous, and Faceless YouTube was born. And like any young kid with a lot of potential, people started taking advantage. I swear we've set up just above a concert delivered by birds. So Faceless YouTube has existed for over a decade. Why are you only hearing about it now? Initially, those people taking advantage of this opportunity were clever enough to keep their mouths shut. Back in the day, YouTube had a supply and demand problem. It had lots of demand, i.e. attention, and it had very little supply, i.e. videos. Oh, the birds just flew away. Anyway, so those people that provided the supply, i.e. the videos, got the majority of the demand. Take this analogy. If you were Nicolas Cage and you found a city of gold, you'd probably tell nobody because it would give you enough time to harvest that gold and sell it yourself. Because the supply of gold is limited, and similar to YouTube and its gold, attention, the supply is limited. There's only a certain amount of people who want to watch a certain amount of videos. And if you're an early face or faceless creator, you want as little competition as possible. And because YouTube had a supply problem, its algorithm rewarded consistency and volume as much as it did quality. Those who were lucky enough to stumble upon this gold mine early enough had the good fortune of posting subpar content while still getting noticed. So the more content you posted, the more views you got. And this led to a shift because those people that were savvy enough to realize this started automating this process. When I say automated, they developed a process that streamlined the video production, so they didn't need to be involved in the production themselves. Not really automated in my book, but technically they had a cash cow vehicle that would generate them revenue as they slept. So they could sleep in their newly renovated house in Bali and live happily ever after. However, that didn't last forever because if you fast forward to today, the supply has definitely caught up with the demand. And new people have caught up with this faceless YouTube business model. And today it's quite competitive, which okay, is fine because these OGs are probably saying, yeah, I have a few more people to compete with, but they can't compete with my automated process that can churn out videos faster than you can. I got nothing. That's until TikTok came along and they changed the game. TikTok changed the way that we consume. Intentional searching was replaced with discoverability, and YouTube had to adapt their approach to content recommendations. It went from a model of, hey, you follow these people, so let me recommend you videos from these people all the time, to a model of, hey, you watch these people, but I have all these videos up here, which you'll find much, much more appealing from different people, so watch them instead. And it did that because YouTube started to recommend creators less off of volume and more off of quality. quality. It was all about viewer satisfaction, meaning those people that posted the best videos got rewarded. And now suddenly these faceless creators who were churning out loads of subpar content had a big problem. They had a revenue problem because YouTube channels get paid in a number of ways. One way is through ads. When you watch their videos, you might see an ad at the beginning, and the money that Google get from that ad is split with the creator to reward them for making that video and as an incentive to make more and more videos. The second way is working with brands and doing deals and affiliate links, but the third, and in my opinion the most profitable way of doing it, is through audience leverage. And it's better because audience leverage doesn't rely solely on views, and the YouTube automation sphere hasn't yet caught on to the potential of this third revenue stream, and I'll talk about it at the end after the rise of fake gurus. You see, for revenue streams 1 and 2, you need views, and you need them consistently. And because the content strategy of some of these creators was based off of quantity and not quality, they weren't getting views anymore. These faceless channels had an automated process that didn't work anymore. So they were left with two options: improve the quality of their content by giving it a little more TLC, but it reduces the efficiency of how often they're able to produce videos. Or number 2, the dark path. A lot of them took option 1. Some of these people you might know, others you might never have heard of. And you mightn't have heard of them because what they're doing is working. They're earning great money, have more opportunities than they know what to do with, and they're comfortable out making better and better videos and improving the viewer satisfaction, building their audience. But other people chose option 2. They refused to adapt to the times, either because number 1, they didn't want to admit that their process wasn't going to work anymore, or number 2, they just didn't know how to make their content better. Maybe both. And unfortunately for these people, it was now more profitable to talk about doing faceless YouTube than actually doing faceless YouTube itself. And now they're selling you the dream they once lived. A now outdated dream. A dream that you could develop a process that automates video production and generates you more money than you know what to do with. And so the name YouTube automation was popularized by these people because it depicts a process, it's like a tongue twister, it depicts a process, because it depicts a process that automates the production of videos, which should in turn automate your income. And they charge quite a lot of money for these courses that teach you this process and tell you that learning this process alone is enough to make you wealthy with YouTube. 5 years ago maybe, but that is not the case anymore. The wealth is not in learning the process. The wealth is in learning how to capture attention. I've been doing YouTube for 2 years, YouTube automation for about half of that, and I can tell you from first-hand experience that capturing attention is number 1, very hard, and number 2, very expensive. And for these reasons, I bloody love it. I love it because once you have this figured out, you have an enormous opportunity. It's hard for a reason. It's hard because you've figured out how to capture the most valuable commodity in the world.
Knowledge.
Attention. True attention cannot be bought, it can only be earned. And once you have this figured out, then you can layer on top the process that these guys talk about to maximize the efficiency. Now this brings me back to the third revenue stream that I kind of glossed over earlier: audience leverage. You see, in normal cases, views equal money. And this is what 90% of YouTube automation channels have focused on up until now. It's views at all costs, because you are then trading these views for Google AdSense and brand deals. Short term, this can work out, but long term, it's a race to the bottom. Why? Because algorithms have changed. They'll change again. But fundamentally, knowing how to capture attention is thousands of years of evolution that can't be wiped away with a software update. Which is why I much prefer this way of monetizing YouTube automation. Leverage. Building audiences through recurring attention and brand building. Doing this means you've built your own distribution channel where you can launch and sell your own products. Yeah, YouTube automation has some fake gurus associated with it, but fundamentally, the model is sound, and that's why I'm going all in on it. YouTube automation is incorrect. In fact, I actually have no idea what to call it. Faceless YouTube, cash cow YouTube, I don't know, let me know in the comments what you think. But the key takeaway here is to remember it's not about the process, it's about learning how to capture the attention. If you want to take the first step in learning the most valuable skill in the world, watch this video up here. That's all from me. See you in the next one. Slán.